What's up, everybody? On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, we got a special Super Bowl episode. I know, the podcast is late, but this is an excuse for me to bring it to you on Super Bowl Sunday. Hey, if you listen real quick before the game, you're going to get my predictions. But if you listen after the game, I'll kind of steer it towards that too. But we got a lot of pop culture topics, but we're going to put it all in a nice, concise episode for y'all. Don't fret. I'm going to leave it to a surprise, too. I ain't even going to list it all like I usually do. It's the Best of Bias Podcast Super Bowl edition. I know everybody out there got things to do. I know everybody partying with loved ones or their friends. And friends could be the loved ones, too. But either way, man, Super Bowl Sunday, Chiefs versus 49ers, releasing on Sunday. I'm sorry, y'all. I know it's been late. It's been a lot, hectic week. But we here for y'all, man. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk to my people. But like I said, no long talking before the pod. You know what it is. We here today, episode 196. Getting closer and closer to that 200, but let's get right to it. Where that theme song at? It's right here, y'all. Best of Bias.
It's the best of Bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of Bias. Your best of Bias. It's the best of Bias.
What's up, everybody? It's a favorite episode of your favorite, well, it's going to be your favorite episode of your favorite podcast, the Best Bias on a Sunday. Super Bowl edition. Yeah, Super Bowl edition of the Best Bias podcast today. I know. I'm late, you feel me? But shit happens in the week, man, trying to juggle life and getting this shit to y'all. But getting this shit to y'all is definitely one of my priorities. And it's not shit. I shouldn't say shit. It's quality content and material for your everyday life and meditation. You feel me? Best of Bias podcast. New listeners, welcome. Family members, welcome back. I know y'all busy today. I know it's weird for me to drop on Sunday. And if on any Sunday, this Sunday is the weirdest to do so. But man, I'm sorry. I was going to record, earlier in the week. Something came up and I pushed it back. Then the Nuggets were playing and then they had a back-to-back. Man, it's their fault. So blame the Nuggets. But we here today. I'm rocking the Brady jersey because you already know what it is. Super Bowl Sunday. You got the Chiefs and the 49ers. Chiefs from Kansas City. 49ers from the Bay Area, San Francisco area. But they're playing Santa Clara. But we're not going to get into all that. Let's get right into it. It's a new episode and a new day and a brilliant day, a beautiful day. Usher's performing at halftime. But we'll get into all that. Let's start. Let's start right there. Super Bowl Sunday. I'm excited for everything that it entails, man. It's a classic day. It's a classic day. One of the biggest days in America for sure. If you got the day off today from your retail job or whatever job you have working on or the weekends, congrats to you. I know in this area where I'm at right now, if you're a 49ers fan, you better not be working because this could be the one. This could be the one for y'all. I'm not even going to lie. Again, I'm recording this before the game, so I'm going to get y'all my predictions. But if after the game I was wrong and the 49ers won, congratulations. If you lost, I'm sorry. But around where I'm at right now, I got a lot of 49ers faithful, the family, a lot of the friends that live out here because I'm a Bay Area kid myself. I'm just a little different. I just rep a different kind of Bay when it comes to the sports, well, football in general, Tampa Bay. So in anniversary, not necessarily today, but in anniversary of, us taking the championship home about 3 years ago, I want to say, it's another big day for somebody else. Chiefs fans out there, y'all be winning all the time now, the last couple of years. So I feel like y'all on your high horse. So it's kind of I don't know, decision between lesser evils for me, man, because I don't know. 49ers out there, when it comes to my prediction, 49ers are going for their, sixth championship? The Kansas City Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken, well, Mahomes got 2 already, so I don't remember how many they had as a franchise before Mahomes, but it's going to be his 3rd. And he's been to the Super Bowl like LeBron status, you feel me? Like, 4 out of the last 5 years he's been in the Super Bowl. He's doing his thing, so again, I'm no hate for Taylor Swift. It's just how quickly these sports leagues are clinging on to people of popularity to try to increase their brand is crazy. And the fact that they went with Taylor Swift this year, the hot person in the industry, when it comes, this is not about Taylor Swift. We're talking about the Super Bowl right now, even though she's heavily entwined. But anyways, I think me personally, I don't even know, man. It's hard for me to come up with a prediction. when it comes to the celebration. I'm excited to see what goes on at halftime with Usher. Um, the playlist we've been predicting, debating about in our group chats, trying to figure out what's going to actually happen. It's exciting times, man. He deserves it. He's been tearing up this year. Last year it was 2024 this year, but 2023, all the end of last year, he was in the residency already in Vegas, blowing it up all over social media. So it's only right for him to perform and do it on a big show in Vegas. Represent Vegas in a way, and Usher just bring that show to the stage of the Super Bowl, which is gonna be incredible. There's so many classics that we need to hear, that we gotta hear, and there's stuff that they have to play because of this popularity. Me personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of Yeah. I mean, for its time, it was dope, but how overplayed. Oh my God, Yeah, it's been from when it first came out to how it is now. If you play Yeah anywhere, that's why. You can play Yeah at a middle school dance. You can play Yeah on the deck of a cruise ship. You can play Yeah at a hip hop club. You can play Yeah at a country club. Wherever you go, that one hip hop song. Well, it's not even hip hop. Well, he raps. So I gotta pose that question to some of my friends. Is Yeah a rap song or R&B song? Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. But yeah, anyways, I think the set's gonna be amazing. I Better Hear Bad Girl. That's one of my favorite R&B songs of all time. If not it's top two for sure. Top two. Top two. And Caught Up is cool musically, but I mean I don't know if he wants to play that just for the fact of what it was talking about. Maybe You Don't Have to Call. I like You Don't Have to Call a lot. Um, Love You Down with will.i.am. I want to hear that for sure. But then you for sure have to play the classics. I wouldn't mind them just bringing out Alicia Keys for My Boo. That'd be kind of clean. Uh, Probably Shawty, I don't mind. That's probably gonna play on there too. So that's gonna be epic. But as far as the game goes, man, it's gonna be a defensive slugfest, I should say. It's gonna come down to who can capitalize off those, defensive opportunities. This year, Kansas City defense has been amazing. You saw him shutting down the likes of Josh Allen. You saw him shutting down the likes of uh, what's man, two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Excuse me for forgetting your name, my brother, but yeah, he's been getting through, and the defense has been shutting shit down, and Patrick Mahomes is just doing his thing. Even though he has, less weapons than he did in past years, he's able to make shit happen because it's Patrick Mahomes. You already know what he's gonna do. So as long as the defense can put you in short fields and good opportunities and stop other teams from scoring, Patrick Mahomes is gonna get you over the hump. People thought since his offensive output wasn't as high as it usually is, he's not going to be able to produce and get his team to where it needs to be, which is the Super Bowl, the ultimate game, the objective of every season. You know what I'm saying? You're not really trying to win it. I mean, you don't have to win every game and go undefeated to make it to the Super Bowl. So it's not necessarily every team's ultimate objective. You have bad games, but you use those games and use them as learning lessons to get better. And I feel like that's not always bad, you know what I'm saying? Because those learning lessons can take you over the top and help you get to the Super Bowl, like what happened with, the Kansas City Chiefs, and also the boost of having a fan base and the increase of, money into your program. I wouldn't say money into your program, but I'm sure that the Chiefs brand got an uptick of fans, an uptick of jersey sales, and an uptick of attendance at games. Yeah, it's just all beneficial for them. So this season they've been riding with a lot, a new fan base and being the underdogs the whole time this playoffs with Patrick Mahomes at the helm, trying to go back to back with that added motivation. We'll see. But on the other side, you have the 49ers who have been to this NFC Championship game, have been to the Super Bowl, have lost to Patrick Mahomes, have something to prove themselves. They've been the best team on paper and the best team on the field and the best teams in everybody's mind all season. They had the number one seed in the NFC. They struggled a little bit in the playoffs. Their defense gave up some rushing yards and some passing yards, throughout the air. Took some miscues from the other teams for them to come back, but that's what you're supposed to do when you have a good defense as well as the 49ers do on the other side. You're supposed to capitalize off those miscues and do what you need to do to get the offense in position, in which the offense has more weapons than the Chiefs do, I would say. The quarterbacks, they're light years apart. But as far as the weapons go, the 49ers have that in the bag, from tight end to linemen to receivers to running back. All those positions are top in the league, at least top five at this moment. You know what I mean? Well, Ayuk is, I would say, one of the no, this is a stat. He's like one of the top receiver as like yards per catch. I think it's like 40 or some shit like that, average yards per catch over the season. Or some shit like that. I think he was top 1 or 2 in that category. You know what Devo can do after he catches the ball. You know what McCaffrey represents. You know what Kittle is, top 3 tight ends every season. Arguably Brock Purdy, one of Brock Purdy's favorite targets. So we'll see how good that Kansas City defense can hold up. You know what I'm saying? This is Brock Purdy's proving ground right now. They could have done it last year if he didn't get hurt or not. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. If 3 quarterbacks didn't get hurt going to the Super Bowl, in the NFC Championship game, maybe the Eagles wouldn't have made it. Maybe the 49ers would have their chance to beat Mahomes and have that rematch last year. You know what I mean? So this year, they're standing on business and coming out and showing that, excuse me, they made it to the Super Bowl. They made the change to Brock Purdy. And though Garoppolo couldn't get it done, they knew through all the drama that they had with Brock Purdy that they had their quarterback that they thought can get it done. And this is the proving ground for Purdy right here. It's like everybody's making jokes about how much he makes compared to other players and other like free agents or other pickups like that. But after the Super Bowl, if you come and be Mr. Irrelevant and win that Super Bowl, that checkbook is gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That bank account's going to inflate, my brother. So do your thing out there. Christian McCaffrey, he's been waiting for this. He's made for this. You know what I'm saying? He's over there in Carolina putting up big numbers for a team that was going nowhere, really. Once he got traded over the 49ers, he knew this was his opportunity to help get his first ring and help the team get over the hump. And he's been playing like it ever since. You never see McCaffrey take a playoff. So I can respect the hell out of that, and especially coming out of Sanford out here in the Bay Area, Pac-12 boy. Out of Colorado, you know what I'm saying? Also, I'm a Nuggets fan, so you know how I respect that too. So I mess with McCaffrey. And Devo too. His ups and downs with injuries, you know what I'm saying? And for him to actually get over the hump. That defense who's been working so hard and injuries with them as well, how hard they be banging and shit like that. My boy Eric from Oregon, Eric Armstead, and Diamador Lenore playing cornerback out there as well, holding it down for Oregon, you know what I mean? And let me shout out my Oregon players on the Chiefs. I think Troy Smith is out there on the Chiefs. And ex-Buccaneers that won the Super Bowl with us. Mike Edwards is out there. Who else they got on the Chiefs? They used to play with us. There's 2 dudes. Mike Edwards is their safety. Forgot who else they had that used to be a Buck. I think it might be a receiver, Justin Watson. He used to be on the Bucks too, number 84 for the Chiefs. He used to be a Buck. I think they did win Super Bowls with us. So shouts out to them guys. But yeah, man, prediction wise, I don't know, man. I'm in the middle here. I don't freaking know. I think me and my personal heart, I think the 49ers are the better team, so they should win. But I just don't think the NFL right now, with all the hype for the Chiefs, the hype on Patrick Mahomes, the referee love, the Taylor Swift, the Swifties, the added bonus of what the NFL could bring if they win, I think it may be in the Chiefs' favor for the upset, man. I'm just hoping it doesn't come. I'm hoping the 49ers win and just take out this so-called dynasty, because I'm tired of hearing about it. We don't need no dynasties. You know what I'm saying? We'll see, though. But I predict the 49ers. I want the 49ers to win, excuse me, but I predict the Chiefs are going to win. I even have a score here. No. I have a score for the 49ers to win. 27-17. That's the score I have, 49ers winning in the Super Bowl. But I'm just hoping no tomfoolery happens, and I hope they can win in a straight-up game. No bullshit, because something as little as a pass interference call not called by the refs, or some bullshit that they can pull can decide a game, man. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, and I'll be back with y'all after the game to see what's going on. If it's after the game now and you're listening to this, you heard my prediction. If the 49ers win more than that, I'm sorry. If the Chiefs win, I knew it. I knew they're going to pull some shenanigans, but if they win outright too, that's my bad. So, but my prediction before the game, 27-17 for the 49ers. We'll see. If a parade out there in Santa Clara will be interesting. Would they go to San Francisco? Would they do it in Santa Clara? I don't know, but it's going to be a cool game. Hope everybody's watching and enjoying with their friends and family with some good snacks. Enjoy those commercials. Enjoy Usher at halftime. NFL awards, though. The NFL honors were last week. I'm just going to go through these awards really quickly. MVP, Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, deserved that shit. He's a baller, man. He just needs to get to the Super Bowl, man, and try to solidify himself as one of those greats. I mean, he's already one of those greats, one of the craziest skilled quarterbacks we've seen of all time, but just for him to get over that playoff hump so people can stop using that excuse against him that he is not a good enough quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl. But some of the best performing quarterbacks don't always win the Super Bowl. Some haven't made the Super Bowl. Dan Marino, or won the Super Bowl, Dan Marino, to name many others. You know what I'm saying? The last couple of quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl have been Tom Brady and fucking Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes. So a lot of quarterbacks haven't won the Super Bowl yet. So. But anyways, MVP 2 times, Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Comeback player of the year went to Joe Flacco for what he did, coming back and helping the Browns win after Deshaun Watson got hurt. They were able to stay afloat and make the playoffs. I understand it, but I think it should have went to Baker because we did go to the playoffs. We made it past the first round and got to the divisionals with Baker Mayfield, and we were predicted to only win 4 games. You know what I mean? And Baker was predicted to be terrible and do nothing. So for the fact that he's on a new team after being on 2 teams last year, getting a new playbook with a first-time offensive coordinator on a team for the first time, getting to know the weapons, winning the way we did against the Eagles, and making the divisionals and having to be competitive. Come on, NFL honors. I see what you're doing, but let's be real. Defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. That was kind of predictable. He was balling all year, especially when TJ Watt went down with that knee injury early or late last season, right before the playoffs started. It was Myles Garrett's to lose. Defensive rookie of the year, Will Anderson of the Texans out of Georgia. He did a great job. I mean, shit, they fucking whooped who they played the first round. I think it wasn't Josh Allen. Who did they play? Whoever they played in the first round of the playoffs, I don't really remember, but they whooped them. Will Anderson was number back-to-back first round picks for the Houston Texans, and D'Amico Ryans. They picked CJ Stroud, and then they picked Will Anderson back-to-back with the trade that they made. I forgot exactly who though. Offensive player of the year was CMC. You had to give it to him if he wasn't going to get MVP. He basically helped wheel the 49ers to the playoffs in the number 1 seed. He's the MVP of the team, I think, personally. Offensive rookie of the year, CJ Stroud. Again, rookie year, went out there and dueled everybody to the last minute every game. Made the playoffs, won a playoff game his rookie year, and lost to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in the second round of the playoffs, which isn't a bad feat for a first-year head coach and a first-year rookie quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. Congratulations, CJ. And then coach of the year went to Kevin Stefanski. I don't know why. I would think it would go to D'Amico Ryans. Kevin Stefanski just was able to make the playoffs with Deshaun Watson out and signing Joe Flacco. But yeah, it is what it is. But those were the awards again. Lamar Jackson MVP, comeback player of the year Joe Flacco, defensive player of the year Myles Garrett, defensive rookie of the year Will Anderson, offensive player of the year Christian McCaffrey, defensive rookie of the year CJ Stroud, and coach of the year we have Kevin Stefanski. And that kind of wraps up the NFL talk for now. Let's move into a little bit of NBA, if you don't mind. Just talking the standings in the West right now. I always let you know about the top 4 because that's where the Nuggets are. That's as far as I'm going to go. I don't really talk, I'm sorry. We shuffle in for first place, and that's what I'm going to talk about, me and the Nuggets, you feel me? But the West, the Nuggets, OKC, Wolves, Clippers just flip-flopping standings. The first place has been within a game or a half a game between all 4 of those teams for the last, week and a half. It's jockeying for position, man. It all depends on who that team's gonna be playing in the moment and who can win the games they're supposed to win. Who doesn't come off a fucking back-to-back with crazy scheduling. It's just gonna all come down to semantics when it comes down to the top 4 teams, which I don't really mind who gets it, but I'd rather be, if it comes down to playing one of the top 4 seeds, have home court advantage just because of the elevation and how we do at home against every other team. But man, these top 4 teams, they just don't want to go out. The Clippers, though, are surprising me now. The more and more and the better they do, the more and more games they win. It makes me think this team is a little cheap, man. It's like, all right, it was cool that y'all were together when y'all was bad, but now you have 4 superstars on the same team with an okay bench. It's just not really that fair. If all the players can play their full amount of minutes in the playoffs, it's just like, all right, bro. You got Paul George, Kawhi, Harden, and Westbrook with Powell. You still got Terrence Mann. You got a couple of bigs and I think Mason Plumlee's still on the team, and then they got Zubac. The bench is just watered with players that are just mid-level players, and you have 4 superstars. It's just crazy. It's just nuts. Oh my God, you have James Harden playing impromptu point guard who can just shoot the ball, score 40 points at any time, but just get 20 assists by drawing people to him and just kicking the ball to Kawhi and Paul George. It's just, and then he still gets to the free throw line with all those fall downs and stuff like that. It's just gonna be tough to see. They can lock it in the playoffs with Ty Lue coaching. It's kind of scary to see. They were in first a little bit until I think they lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to and dropped down again. All these teams are so close. Any loss, it just kind of flips it around. OKC, I think, lost to a bad team as well, like the Blazers or something, that dropped them out of first place for being in first place for a couple of days. Then the Timberwolves lost to a bad team. And then I mean, you can lose to a good team as well. It's just the flip flopping of the squads is going to be interesting to see. Then you have the Lakers and the Warriors actually winning games down there at the bottom of the bracket. So it's going to be scary to see them get into the play-in tournament and be those low seeds because, again, this is what happens every year. They kind of play coy until it gets to the play-in and they pick up steam, and then they're gonna be playing your favorite team. Shoot, what they're gonna be what if the Warriors are an 8 seed and the Lakers are a 7 seed? You're gonna have the Warriors against what OKC, then you have the Lakers against the Timberwolves, and then you have the Clippers against, you know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be a good playoff series that those teams can win at any minute because of their playoff pedigree. So this is going to be an interesting season. All-Star Weekend is almost here. I got a couple of games I want to talk to y'all about and events that some players made, but it's going to be interesting to see, man. That West is stacked. That those 4 teams have been jockeying for fourth place or first place for like forever. You know what I'm saying? And there's only like 4 games dividing fourth and fifth place. So if they catch steam and these teams start losing games trying to jockey to beat each other, it's just going to get wild. It's going to get wild. And I expect for a great playoff. So we'll see y'all in April. The Nuggets is looking fine out here in the West. You know what I'm saying? The starting 5 are fine. We're about in the same pace as we were last year as far as winning games. Again, we had the number 1 seed at this time, and we were able to the team actually coasted after the All-Star Weekend. I think they went 18-13 before the playoffs started. I think they still ended up winning the 1 seed. But still, it's the dog days of the NBA season, the last couple of games for All-Star break. And then All-Star break is the majority of the season, and this is how you make up for it at the end of the stretch. The top 3 teams in the West, of course, are very, very young. So we'll see how they handle that. You know, any injury can knock down that chemistry. Once they lose one of those young guns, you know what I'm saying, it might be over for those teams. But we're battle tested as far as the Nuggets go. We know how to work with players down. We've had players out this whole season, whether it be Jamal, KCP, MPJ, Jokic missed the game. Julian Strawther has been out after he started to get a little connection with the team, busting threes for us, getting a little fluidity within the rotation. Peyton Watson, he's been relatively healthy as well. Just young guys, Christian Brown, just kind of stepping up, excuse me, and taking those bench spots and kind of transforming them. Since we lost a couple of players, key players, again, I say this all the time, but Bruce Brown and Jeff Green were kind of integral pieces in the second unit. For them to be gone, it's time for a couple of first-year, second-year players to step up and to solidify themselves in those backup roles. And when you have teams you have to play like the Clippers and like OKC and like the Suns, we have to have those young players step up when our core 5 go down or are tired and need a blow. We don't need the points and the defensive efficiency, offensive efficiency to like fall off when, you know, it's noticeable what happens when Jokic goes out. So yeah, let's just get better in that aspect and just be cool. I'm not too my confidence is still pretty high in the Nuggets. It's just sometimes, you know, we play the Kings off a back-to-back, play the Lakers on Kobe night, and then we go over and play Sacramento off a crazy ass travel schedule. Though it's not really far. It's just like they probably flew in hella late, try to get some sleep, get up, practice a little bit, and just go to the game and play again. It's just kind of tough to do. And they probably gave it all because Nuggets and Lakers, those teams go hard at each other ever since last year and all the comments that were made after the championship. So for them to go up and get up for a Kings game the next day, missing MPJ, who put up 27 on Kobe night, Jamal put up 28, and Jokic put up like 20 something as well. They went hard the night before. They have to come back and duplicate that 2 games in a row. Yeah, that's why we lost by 30 to the Kings. And I feel like these young teams also keep getting us off back-to-backs. Like OKC, they beat us hella time just because we play them on weird-ass scheduled days. And then the Kings, they end up playing us off back-to-backs. I think it's like the second time that's happened. This shit sucks, especially after like the play-in tournament. The schedules got all weird and play the same teams hella times in a row. But then I always kind of not talk about the East, but the East is kind of crazy right now. Of course, Celtics are still number 1. But they are losing some games to these tougher, lower tier teams. And I think Celtics are top tier for the Eastern Conference. But if you talk about these other teams, I think the Cavs are on a crazy ass win streak right now, like 6 or 7 games. Uh, yeah, they've been playing really good ball. Donovan Mitchell, uh, Mobley, Jared Allen. I don't know if Garland's playing right now. He may be back, but I thought he was injured for a little bit, but he may be playing right now. But either way, the chemistry is crazy over there. Second seed in the East, if I'm not mistaken. The Bucks are a 3 seed. The whole drama with them switching coaches and Doc Rivers coming in, he hasn't really had a good start there. But they're always going to be competitive with Giannis out there. I think Dame is kind of still trying to get his footing there because he hasn't been balling out like he was last year in at the Trailblazers at times. He would always put up like 20 to 30 point constantly, but now it just seems like he's been injured a little bit, kind of off and on, kind of streaky, low 20s. He couldn't give you a little spurt after, a couple of games, but I don't watch the Bucks too closely, but I do a little bit of prize picks. And when I'm following them, it's like, it doesn't look like he does a lot, but of course you have them. And then you have, who's the 4 seed that I wrote down here? New York. And New York's been on a crazy streak as well. After trade deadline, not even after trade deadline, it's just like they made a trade for OG Anunoby. The team took off. I didn't know that was the missing piece that the Knicks needed to turn their team into a top 4, top 3, vying for top seed in the playoffs as team. Randall, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo has been crazy off the bench, making a whole bunch of threes. No Mitchell Robinson, he's hurt too, he's out for this season. But Harrenstein has been doing good. He's a great backup center. I think he's one of the best backup centers in the league. Who else they got over there doing well? They traded away quickly. Traded away Grimes recently. I think they just picked up somebody in the trade. Oh, Bojan Bogdanovic from the Detroit Pistons. It's gonna be a shooter. Somebody that come off the bench can drop 20 for you. So that's another shooter. When they got OG Anunoby that can defend anybody and put up points on anybody as well, that's a great pickup. I'm glad that Toronto finally pulled the trigger on that to get OG in a spot that could help somebody vie for the playoffs and possibly win a championship. But yeah, Toronto has a crazy collection of players right now. I know Bruce Brown's over there, and everybody wanted him. It's just interesting that the trade deadline was so quiet. You know what I mean? Nothing really happened. Bojan Bogdanovic, is it Bogdan Bogdanovic, the one that played for Utah and Detroit. Anyways, he's on the Knicks now. That was a good pickup. I think that was the only really big thing that happened during the trade deadline, if I'm not mistaken. Dallas, they got PJ Washington, which was I think that was a really good pickup for them, man. Him being a good big 4 out there to go with Lively, who can ball and actually play some defense, then Kyrie and Luka. And then I would think Tim Hardaway Jr. As a starter. It's a cool little core 5. And when the playoffs come after they get kind of solidified as a team, they can be dangerous. I like that trade a lot. Who else made trades? So talk about the Knicks already. And then the Bucks, they got Patrick Beverly. I mean, that's somebody scrappy, I guess, that could play defense off the bench because they kind of lacked in the defense department. And maybe having Doc Rivers can help reel them in and not have them be too crazy on the bench. But him and Dame together is kind of crazy. They used to have beef. They're always talking shit to each other off the bench. Pat Bev doing the clock little Dame time symbol after he missed a free throw in the playoffs in the bubble, I think it was. Some shit like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was crazy. But seeing them on the same team, I mean, Patrick Beverly is going to eventually have to keep piecing it up with everybody he had beef with if he wants to stay in the league because he be getting traded around hella. But yeah, it's cool to see them together. We'll see what that helps with on the East. He was helping out with Philly while Embiid was down, but I guess they didn't want him to stay over there and help lead that squad. So I guess the Bucks wanted him to help do the same thing on their squad. So trade deadline was really quiet. Nothing really happened. The Lakers did end up signing Spencer Dinwiddie, though, after he got waived, I believe. He got traded to somebody and then waived. But the Lakers actually picked him up. They weren't able to make any moves. I don't think they were not able to. I guess they weren't willing to make any moves. And then as far as the Warriors go, they didn't really make any moves either. They feel like they can stand pat once everybody gets healthy. And they are on a little winning streak right now after the last couple of games. They beat the Phoenix Suns last night in a crazy game. they're doing their thing. If they get their core five back and they can make some noise and just see what they can do in the playoffs if they make the playoffs, they're not down and out yet. And then as far as the Lakers go, they feel like they should stand with what they got and they can still make the playoffs and do some damage in the playoffs if they make it via the play-in or however they make it. I think they're like the 10, maybe 9 seed right now. So they're not too far off from the bottom seeds there. So they can still make moves or towards moving up in the standings. And I think Pelinka felt the same way. And Jeannie Buss kind of didn't really want to blow up the team and mess up future success of the team for a win now situation for LeBron. I guess there's a little bit of drama with LeBron wearing a Knicks towel over his head or shoulders, kind of insinuating that he wanted to be traded to the Knicks or some bullshit, or traded if they aren't gonna make any moves at the trade deadline because you know what I'm saying. I don't know. He's just always doing a little something, trying to, no, I wouldn't say get attention, but trying to, I would say, force their hand into making shit happen in trade deadline or off season or whatever, because obviously he doesn't have many years left, and he's also threatening to go play wherever Bronny gets drafted to. So they are kind of also saying we're not scared of that. If it happens, it happens. Thank you, LeBron type shit. But we can't mortgage our future to bring people here anymore or do anything like that to put us in a bad situation after you retire. So yeah, they stayed pat, and Rob Pelinka actually had something in the works. It seemed like they got Dinwiddie in the fold. Maybe on the off season they saved money off one of those big time trades they would have made, and in the off season they could pick up somebody in free agency to make that team better and go with Dinwiddie more. And maybe Gabe Vincent gets healthy, and maybe everybody that's on the bench hurt gets better towards playoff time, play-in time, and they can make something happen. So big on everybody for not trading away a whole bunch of assets to try to get somebody to ring chase type thing, and it is what it is. Try your hardest and get it done, man. That's all. That's it, and that's all. All-Star Weekend, though. Oh, yeah. Also, let me not go past Kobe night without saying rest in peace, Kobe. The ceremony was great. Hearing Vanessa talk was great. And the unveiling of the statue was great. We heard it was one of 3 statues that will be unveiled. Other ones are going to be unveiled later in the year. But the first one they unveiled was him pointing to the sky after scoring 81 points on the Toronto Raptors. I know Jalen Rose is punching the air right now, but yeah, it was a cool statue. I'm excited to see the second one. I think he said Vanessa said there's going to be one with him and Gigi, and then there's going to be one with him and the jersey number 24. So one of the iconic poses he's going to have with number 24. Everybody can try to guess about that, but it was dope. It was a dope ceremony. But the Nuggets did win that night. The Lakers didn't hold it down for them. But RIP Kobe. Statues were great. God bless the family, the Bryants, and all the other families in the helicopter as well. God bless you guys and your family. Rest in peace. But next, sorry, not to get all somber and shit like that. All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, a whole bunch of shit going on. A whole bunch of events, like you guys know. They're supposed to be having LED courts out there, new and innovative. If you guys play 2K, they already did it in 2K, so you probably know what it's going to look like. It's going to look kind of crazy. And if you've been at museums and stuff and been walking on those like LED pianos or LED spots where you're just like butterflies and stuff or fish and it follows your footsteps, it's going to kind of be like that. It'll be interesting to see if it looks good, aesthetically pleasing on TV. We'll see what that has to do. But 3-point contest this year, we got some good contestants. Let me know who you think is going to win down there below in the comments. You know what I'm saying? We got Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. So that's a cool little field there. No Steph, no Clay, but we still got some guys out here that are gonna hold it down, and so we're gonna see who can win the 3-point contest. Me personally, I got my money on Malik just because he's an underdog, and I know he's a wetter. Pause. But I know Brunson got a shot, Holly got a shot, Dame, Laurie, Spot. All of them got. Karl Anthony Towns has won it before. I know Trae got a shot, but me personally, I got Malik. Underdog taking it. Dunk contest, we got Jaylen Brown, we got Mac McClung, Jacob Toppin, Obi Toppin. His name is Obi, right? Obi Toppin's brother out of the G League, Jacob Toppin. And we have Jaime Jaquez out of Miami, dunk contest. Out of that field, I'm gonna go with Jaylen Brown. Oh, actually, probably Max McClung. I'm not even gonna lie. Last year he was doing some crazy shit. I'm happy to see a superstar actually in the contest with Jaylen Brown going in there and doing it. But McClung was going crazy. Unless Jacob Toppin got some bounce and Jaime Jaquez got some creativity and bounce that I don't know about, I think Mac McClung is gonna do that shit. He's still in the league too. He said, "I'm still here." He said, "I ain't only a dunker." Maybe they just kept him around for the dunk contest every year, but hey, we'll see. We'll see. I got my money on Mac. And then skills competition, we got Halliburton, Mathurin, and Turner. That's Team Indianapolis, the home team. Then you got Paolo, AE, and Wemby. That's team number one pick. Then you got Scotty, Maxey, and Trey Young. I think those are the veterans, the young guns. You know, they got drafted like 1 or 2 years ago. Trey Young got drafted a long time ago. But you know, the young guns. They're not quite super old veterans. They're still kind of young guys, you know, young in age and still can do something. So it's those three teams versus each other in the skills competition. Usually they got to do like the crossing over of the cones, make the layup, and then or through the chest pass or bounce pass through the tires, and then sprint to the other side, make a three or something like that. Or actually, they make a three first. Then they do the weave back in the other one, and then they have to lay it up. But sometimes people try to be too cool at All-Star Weekend and don't really be competing. Some people actually do compete, and you can see it. They be sprinting through the course way faster than everybody else. And we're gonna see if actually people actually like participate, not try to be too cool. Hopefully, I'll put some good money on the line or causes out there to make them actually participate and not just go through the motions and try to be cool. You know what I'm saying? And then what I want to see the Steph and Sabrina shoot off. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. Out there having a 3-point contest. I don't know who challenged who, but whoever it is, I got Sabrina all day. You know what I'm saying? Steph is Steph. He going Steph. You know what I'm saying? But I got Sabrina. That's Oregon. That's confidence. That's liberty. You feel me? We out here. We out. Who won what? Down in the comments right now. Let me know who won what. You lucky I'm not live right now, so I can't take live bets. But I got Sabrina. Who won what? You know what I'm saying? Draymond already lost to Kevin Hart. So I know anything is possible. I'm not calling Sabrina Kevin Hart, but I'm saying these all-star NBA athletes, you know what I'm saying? They can lose to somebody. Let's take the primetime shooter from the WNBA and put him up against the primetime shooter of the NBA. Let's see who wins. And Sabrina said, we ain't even tripping. We're going to take the NBA 3. You ain't got to take the WNBA 3. We're going to take you at the NBA 3 because she already broke the record at the 3-point contest for the women's, for the WNBA. She was wet. So let's go to the NBA. We're going to take over your event. We're going to show you how the Ducks do it. Okay, Steph? Is that cool with you? All right. And then as far as the big game, we got East versus West. Of course, we're going back to the old school method. No more pick you, the popularity contest in a long-ass draft format. We're going to go West versus East. We're going to go by votes. And whoever was the top voters are going to be the starters. And then everybody else that made the All-Star team as reserves is going to back them up. I don't think I put all the reserves on here, but I did put the starters, though. I did put the reserves, cool. Or the backups, at least. Luka, this is the West. This is the West for the Western team. We got Luka, KD, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, and Joker with backups of Steph, AD, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Karl Anthony Towns. On the East side, we got Giannis. I don't know who's replacing Embiid because I know he got meniscus surgery, so I'm not sure who exactly is going to be replacing him out of the backups here. But Embiid, Holly is a starter, Tyrese Halliburton, got Dame Lillard as a starter, and then Jason Tatum. Backups, we got Bam Adebayo. That's who I think will probably be starting in Embiid's place, probably Bam. We got Paolo Banchero, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, and Donovan Mitchell. So it'll be a good game. I got the West. That West lineup is loaded, especially if you take Embiid off the East lineup and put Bam Adebayo. Luka, KD, Shai Gilgeous, LeBron, and Joker is eating that team up. And even the backups. You put the backups in all together. AD, Steph, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi, and Kat. They're gonna eat up. They might even eat up those starters on the other side. So they don't even want none. They don't want none of this. Then the backups, yeah, it's gonna be one-sided. Hopefully they actually play hard too. I know they do that weird ass format, like you have to get to this many points. Whoever gets to this many points first, blah blah blah. They'll explain it. I'll be like, huh? But then it makes more sense. It made more sense like the second and third time I watched it. but I don't remember exactly how they do it. But usually it's for good causes and good money. So hopefully they play hard, don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to play super defense, but at least try a little bit for the last couple of minutes of the fourth. You feel me? What else I got? Celebrity basketball game. Team Stephen A with assistant coach Lil Wayne and Asia Wilson. Then we got versus Team Shannon Sharp with assistant coach 50 Cent and assistant coach Peyton Manning. Let me see if I got the rosters, a couple of names for y'all to drop about who's going to be actually in this game. Let me see. I did check a couple of flicks here. So we have, these names are hella small. Let me make this bigger. We have Gianna Marco Tamburi, actually, I don't know who the hell that is. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, sir. CJ Stroud. We have Jack Ryan. We have Meta World Peace. Whoa. We have Kwame Nwache. Okay. He looks like Bruce Brown. Yeah, AJ from the Backstreet Boys, AJ McLean. Tristan Jazz, that dunker from Instagram, the white boy dunker that got the front dude. I don't know. Jennifer Hudson. Natasha Cloud. We got Sir, Dylan Wang, Adam Blackstone, Lily Singh. We have Jewel Lloyd. You got a couple of WNBA players in here. Then we got Micah Parsons is in the game. Kai Sanat. We have what's his first name? Quincy Isaiah from Winning Time, played Magic Johnson in Winning Time. Then we got, let me see, Walker Hayes. We have Unwell, and then we got Connor Daly. You know what I'm saying? A couple of celebrities out there doing some things for the squad. Not the biggest celebrity game I've ever seen, but we got some hoopers out there. We're gonna see what happens. The coaches are gonna be more interesting than anything. Having Stephen A, Lil Wayne, and Asia Wilson versus Shannon Sharp, 50 Cent, and Peyton Manning. It's gonna be an interesting back and forth. Hopefully they're mic'd up the whole time. Where's Kevin Hart during all this? Ain't he supposed to be in the game all the time? Hopefully they add him to the game because I want to see Kevin Hart ball with these coaches. That would be amazing. But yeah, that's all I got for sports right now. What should I talk about next? Oh, let's get into some pop culture. Oh, actually, this is still kind of sports, but pop culture. I didn't do too much looking into this because I don't know if this is a fully developed idea. This dude might be tripping. But the Steroid Olympics. All right. So this caught my interest as well because sometimes you think to yourself, what does steroids, you know what I'm saying? If everybody did them in the Olympics and it was on an equal playing field, everybody had to train and still, like, we know they're taking steroids, and if everybody was just reported and something that's not too super illegal, that's like harmful and like that'd be killing people. If everybody could do steroids and train the same, wouldn't it be interesting to see Olympics with that and see everybody juiced up and buff and just doing everything epic like wrestling type shit? It's like the wrestling Olympics, everybody's just, or American Gladiators, you know what I mean? That shit is raw. Though we want to see everybody clean and fair, as the Olympics are. The Olympics is a great organization. There was this question posed by billionaire Peter Thiel, is his name? He wants to sponsor an Olympic type event where the athletes can take drugs. Well, you can't really, I wouldn't say they can take drugs, but there's no drug testing that takes place within the event. So you can take whatever you want and go in and compete. But if you can compete on them drugs and be successful, they will still credit you have being a winner and not discredit you or eliminate you or disqualify you for, taking drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like Russia did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? They were suspended for hella events in the participating in the Olympics due to steroid allegations and being caught taking steroids. You know what I'm saying? So what if this man, Peter Thiel, took an idea, all the best athletes that were shunned, hella raw athletes who just thought that they needed a little help to stay healthy, just needed a little help to recover from the intense training, a little six-pack to go on top of the talent that they had. You know what I'm saying? A little muscle growth, a little help. You know what I'm saying? Get out there and entertainment-wise, I think it'll make a whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? People will sponsor to watch this event happen. I know it may not be the fairest thing, but just make sure if you're in the event as well that you're doing whatever you need to do to keep up. Just write it down. Just report it. We won't drug test you. Just report it. You know what I'm saying? We won't judge you. We just want to know, just in case there's any kind of overdosing or any kind of stuff that happens if you take it too much. We know what you was putting in your body, so medically you can be helped as fast as possible. You know what I'm saying? Actually, no. Actually, what am I saying? Maybe we should take that back. Don't ask, don't tell. How about that? We're holding these events. We're going to let you enter the dog over here snoring, messing up my train of thought, bro. What's going on? But anyways, yeah, just have the events. Don't ask, don't tell, unless the person's in there like roid raging, beating people up, and just attacking people. It, it's good. And like, if you're doing stuff violent that it warrants you to be eliminated, anyways, fighting with people, punching people, you gotta go. Roid rage, threatening referees, people that are judging the competitions. As long as you ain't attacking people, going crazy like that, you're good to go. Nobody cares you smoke a little weed. All that stuff is minor. We talk about the HGH, the performance steroids, all that kind of stuff that'll make you run a little bit. Me personally, I haven't taken steroids myself, but personally, I don't think that steroids really make you perform way better than somebody that's naturally raw at a sport. You know what I mean? I think it comes down to maybe body and like body performance. But when it comes down to playing the sport, unless it actually involves physical contact or something that involves you being stronger to beat the other person, like I don't care about weightlifting. Weightlifting could take your steroids, be strong enough to do things like that. But as long as you're not like wrestling somebody or and being on steroids, or you playing football and being on steroids, it's just a lot that could happen in those contact sports. But if it's track and field, like shot put, javelin, pole vault, you know what I'm saying? That would be dope. You're not hurting nobody. Everybody's on steroids. We all can train as much as we can to get our skills to this top level. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I can go ahead and train 24 hours straight and then take this HGH, or I'm sorry not to put HGH out there to make y'all seem the worst guys, but I don't really know many other steroids, but take this recovery drugs to make my muscles perfect for the next day's competition. It's a better product. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we won't see nobody. I don't know. It seems cool. It's just something I thought I'd bring to the table. The regular Olympics is fine with me. I like the whole nationalism aspect of it. Everybody's representing their country. We're out here putting out the best athletes there can be. We're out here doing it fairly. Everybody's clean. Nobody's out here, cheating to become better. But, Peter, Phil, get with some people. I know some people out there maybe have something for you. Make it a TV show, saying host, like, you can learn a lot from the American Gladiator whole setup if you want to try to go that route. You know what I mean? It's not bad. How do you guys feel about that? A non-drug tested Olympic type event where anybody can participate on anything, no ask, don't tell type shit. Am I interpreting it wrong? Am I tripping? I don't know. Anyways, moving on. The Grammys, man. The Grammys. The Grammys were interesting, man. I don't really watch the Grammys that often, just for the fact that a lot of the urban and hip hop kind of, I'm not even gonna say urban hip hop, because those are the labels that they kind of put on us that kind of move the needle for them. I'm just gonna say Black people in these music awards or awards in general aren't really honored like they're supposed to. I wouldn't even say not honored like they're supposed to be. A lot of the times, other people get credit for some of the sounds and some of the art that came directly from the Black culture, minority cultures, cultures that aren't necessarily of the people that get all the awards. You understand what I'm trying to say? So things like the Oscars and the Grammys, award shows that are supposed to be held to this high standard, to people on the outside, however the media or the public or however we take our information, however these shows got to the pedestal to be the show of the show of the show for everything. We got to kind of just think about it a little different, man. Every year we kind of go out and just say, like, we're going to protest, we're going to not go, maybe they'll respect us more that way, maybe they'll give us our due that way. I don't know. Because me personally, there's a lot of debate about how do you protest, how does a protest look? Some people say don't go. Some people say don't show up and don't go where you're not respected, don't go where you're not appreciated, don't go where you're not recognized, type shit like that. But then there's people on the other hand that say keep showing up, keep showing the people that shit that's going on is not right, if so. people will start to realize it. The more we talk about it, the more it's in your face, because if you're not showing up, you're not there. They easily can skip over it and not mention it. But if you're there and you're sitting right there and the camera keeps showing you, and the world knows that you're being snubbed for shit that you obviously should win, and you keep making noise about it, you still complain about it on stage. I don't think the say all be all is to not show up. You know what I mean? Jay-Z went on stage and gave a brilliant speech about that. Given some of the awards that were given out during the Grammys, there was some high points. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want to make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world, because again, I didn't watch the whole thing. There was definitely some great performances, and I'm hearing people say it went off without a hitch. A lot of the stuff that went down was great. It was really good. It was a really colorful night as far as minorities performing, minorities being awarded, and minorities being appreciated, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful, but there's still little snubs that I kind of feel like happen to not make us all the way get to where it's like, okay, everything is where it should be. Everything is worth being quiet about. Everything is like, it is what it is type shit. Like, firstly, of course, we're going to start with, because I'm a hip hop guy, the Hip Hop Album of the Year award going to Killer Mike for his album Michael. I think that's what it was called. Me personally, when I heard the album, I listened to it the first time I heard it was on Joe Budden's podcast. He previewed some of the songs. Killer Mike was actually on the podcast a couple weeks after, just or maybe before, talking about the album and how much he's been working on it, how great the album's going to be. The fact that the album, one of the singles came out was a verse from Future and Andre 3000 on the same song of him. And you know what he's going to do lyrically. Just hearing Andre 3000 coming out of retirement and be on the same song with Future, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then just the production throughout the album, some of the songs are deep. You know what Killer Mike's about as far as activism. So he's talking that real shit as far as the rap goes. And some of the albums that it was up against, Utopia, Her Loss, I think was one of the albums in there. I just think as far as hip hop goes, is one of the better albums from top to bottom. A lot of people didn't really like her. I liked Her Loss a lot, me personally, because I'm more of a guy. I mean, I'm not mad at artists that put out playlist type albums, you know what I'm saying, where all of them don't hit, but they have a whole bunch of good singles that I play regularly. But I don't think that makes up a album of the year type of album, you know what I mean? Instrumentally, production wise, Michael's the album, Killer Mike's the artist. His album was amazing. Just the shit that you can hear productionally before the song starts, throughout the songs, in between verses, the bridges, just the breakdowns. Every song was top notch, and it was like almost 20 songs on that album. I mean, Her Loss was dope, but the content wasn't the hardest. I feel like it wasn't a piece of work that garnered album of the year. You can hear the work in Killer Mike's album. In Drake's album, half 21 Savage, half, a lot of the songs were kind of like no diss. Again, people really really take critiques of Drake albums kind of the wrong way nowadays, and kind of feel like, again, I really like that album. It's in rotation still with me, but as far as album of the year, I think Mike got it. And then as far as him sweeping the rest of the awards for hip hop on the night, what were they? Song of the Year and Rap Performance of the Year, I want to say, along with Album of the Year. So he cleaned up. It was just the fact that the awards weren't televised. It was kind of weird. One of the biggest awards, I would say, at the Grammys. People was tune in for that award. Not everybody. There's a lot of awards and a lot of stuff that are shown on TV. So you got to pick and choose who you're going to show but for them not to show Killer Mike any of the awards when he swept the category, which is not really done ever, especially from an album and a person that's completely independent and not mainstream and pushed all the time. It's unheard of. So it kind of seemed like an agenda in a way, because if Drake would have won, or if Travis Scott would have won or something, I'm sure that would have been televised, because their following is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? And there'd be a lot of money in showing them on TV, a lot of viewers tuning in to see what they have to say. But since it was Killer Mike, and a lot of the young kids don't listen to Killer Mike and stuff like that, and don't really care about that album didn't really receive it as well as they received Utopia, Her Loss, that they wouldn't want to show it on TV. It's kind of a crazy game that they played in that instance. I don't know. And then for him to get arrested and for them to have that more televised and more shown around media than his actual speech and acceptance and winning of the award is just nuts. It just seems like his facts that he stands on activism and pushes back against some of the country and some of the thoughts of some of the country, and for him to win awards at one of their highest levels of achievement, it's just, I don't know. They had to kind of like get him out of there before he was able to make any speeches or come on stage and spit some more real shit that, you know, because Jay-Z did win a Generation Award to speak about Album of the Year and stuff like that. For Album of the Year, Taylor Swift won. A lot of people think SZN sort of won for Album of the Year. What album was it from Taylor Swift that won? Midnights was the album that won, but everybody thought SZA's album, most recent album, the name of the album is slipping my mind, but let me see if her name is. Yeah, I forgot to have the album on my goddamn phone too. So my bad, SZA, but she won a whole bunch of awards too. She won for pop duo group performance, R&B song, and urban contemporary album. Urban contemporary album is kind of weird too. I just feel like she should have won Album of the Year because the impact that made on last summer and last year in general. Everybody's singing all those songs, and those songs have been played on the radio. She has 2 like hits that played simultaneously on the radio that are crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. And I don't know. Me personally, maybe that's a bias of the radio stations that I listen to. I don't really listen to much Taylor Swift, but she won a bunch of awards too. What did Taylor Swift get on here? Best pop album, best pop vocal album, and album of the year, of course. Best, what is it? Best album and best pop vocal album for Midnights. That's what she won. I mean, I'm sure she won the biggest awards because she's high right now, and everybody knows that. So you gotta, she kind of shaded Celine Dion when she got the award. You know what I mean? She's big time now. She's big government. You should call her big government, not not Reggie Jackson. You know what I mean? She's selling her planes because people are tracking her flights and where she's landing and stuff, which is a public forum and people have been doing for years. But since it's happening to Taylor Swift, you got to change. I'm sure there's gonna be a law against people doing that now since people are tracking her flight. Perry, can I do a podcast, please? Chill out with the snoring, brother. Sister, excuse me. But anyways, yeah, it was cool. Tyler won Best African Music Performance for her song "Water." That one hit the socials and the waves in the media, kind of crazy. That tune is probably stuck in everybody's head. Make me sweat it. Yeah, everybody's on that one. What else happened? Let's see. Oh yeah, the drama on them announcing again all these hip hop awards weren't really announced on TV. So I guess before the category was announced, the Grammys on Twitter released that Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj won Best Rap Song. But when it actually came to the awards and they announced it, it was Killer Mike for his rap song with Andre 3000 and Future. So a lot of drama behind that as well, because Nicki Minaj regularly talks about how the Grammys always snubs her for every award. Her and Drake, I guess, because they obviously are two of the biggest artists in the world, and a lot of the times they don't win awards. Travis is one of the biggest artists in the world as well. Never wins the Grammys he's put up for either. So it was kind of a troll, I guess, to Nicki Minaj because she's out here trying to troll the industry as well with the song she put out to Megan Thee Stallion. And, what I'm saying, that's the industry's little darling right there. So for her to try to kind of challenge the establishment through that and always talk shit about the Grammys as well, they try to punch one back at her, which I don't think is right. That's fucked up, man. For somebody, you're supposed to hold yourself at a higher regard than that Grammys. You ain't supposed to stoop down to somebody complaining about you not giving them awards, So that in itself is kind of just shows and validates what Nicki Minaj is talking about, because that's crazy for them to announce that and then give it to somebody else. Even though it might have been Ice Spice's song, so wouldn't they give the award to Ice Spice? Hey, but I'm not in it. My name ain't Bennett, and I ain't in it. But yeah, the Grammys, I guess, was cool. There's always gonna be people not winning awards that you think should win the awards, just the point of the award show. But I don't know, man. I just wish that Black people, white people, and even Chinese people can all go to a award show and be comfortable and win awards on a level playing field. You know what I'm saying? One of these days, I'm hoping it could be like that. You know what I mean? And take the labels urban and this and that off of everything. Hispanic, like, or Latino music. Karol G can win an album of the year just for her regular album instead of it having to be in this category that's not worthy of being in the album of the year category. You know what I'm saying? Because if she's gonna clean up for the Latin awards, and then you have like Burna Boy cleaning up for the African awards, why don't you just put it all in one category and judge them all together? What are we afraid of? You know what I mean? Just be fair. Like, don't throw it in our faces. Like, act like. Anyways, let's move on. Fox, Warner, and Disney joint venture in the works, man. I'm hearing and they saying, man, all these digital platforms are fighting for these sports, man. And not even the rights to all the sports. It's just games and playoff games, high stake games that know it's going to bring in millions of viewers for one game. They're paying billions of dollars to do it. It's just kind of crazy. Crazy to see. And I guess I'm hearing from my boy Paul, you know what I'm saying? He's one of my tech friends that kind of lets me in on a lot of information. He kind of knows and feels like, or he's kind of getting the hint that everybody's trying to get into sports because that's the last living kind of thing on television. And you know what I'm saying? Streaming is already up. Everybody has streaming services. So the shows, the content they make, that is that. But live sports are usually what gets all the views on TV, what's being the most watched. So Apple got the most money. So they already got MLS. They got I think some rights to some baseball. They got all the money. They can buy up everything if they wanted to, and maybe they're pushing towards that. The Apple Vision goggles right now are what's really the play for them at the moment. They're focused, but man, you see the money that they're making from everything, they can easily move in, swoop in next, and try to cop everything and just be the super conglomerate. So I see these moves as a fight back from that possibility, and they're getting all together and just kind of trying to make joint ventures that benefit them and can make them money and just kind of leverage the sports that they have and hold on to those because they know that's the moneymaker and leverage those to make them more money. So here is what's going on. Fox, Warner, and Disney are all coming together and bringing all their sports platforms together to make a super app that holds everything. So Fox has Fox Sports and everything that's under that umbrella. Disney has ESPN, so that's everything under that umbrella. And Warner has TNT, and pretty much TNT does. They do golf, I think, but their main thing is basketball. So you have that as well, and all the games that are televised on TNT. So I don't know exactly what the app's name is going to be yet, but the fact that they're all merging together after pretty much being competitors and holding all these events and games on their separate channel, you'll have a game that everybody wants to watch that's on that's on ESPN, but you don't have ESPN or Fox can't televise it because it's only on ESPN. But now if you want to watch all that shit together, you should get this app. You can watch any of the apps anytime the sports are on. You can just hop on that app and have every app under your umbrella. I don't know. This sounds really expensive. One, because for you to have one-touch access to all these specific channels just to show these sporting events is going to be expensive. Because I know me personally, to watch TNT, I have cable. And then for Fox Sports, I have cable too. So I get Fox and FS1 and ESPN. But if you were to be all streaming, because ESPN has that package where it's like ESPN, Hulu, ESPN Plus, ESPNU, all that kind of shit. But if you're in that package and you don't have access to Fox and you don't have cable, you can't really watch the Fox games. And vice versa, you know what I mean? If you have traditional cable, you can watch ESPN. I mean, I don't know how it works. If you just have Fox, I guess, if somebody was just to have Fox, I don't know how that works. But if you were just to have Fox, you can only watch the Fox games and the FS1 games. And then if you didn't have cable at all, TNT, watching games on TNT would probably be impossible for you. So this is trying to make convenience possible for everybody, and just kind of like share the numbers instead of each individually benefited off of having a game on their channel. Maybe all of them together gives a percentage to each of them for each of the games that I don't know how it's going to work, but it just seems cool. It just seems, me personally, like a fight back tactic against big companies like Apple or Disney trying to buy everything, Disney probably broached the conversation. It was like, man, it'd probably be cheaper if we just all went in together and just made this joint app. We can all make some dough. We have more to offer, so probably make the biggest amount of money. But TNT and Warner, you're already dying a little bit. We can bring you guys on board. And Fox and FS1, we've been direct competitors with you for years, but instead of bleeding you dry, maybe you join with us too, and we can help y'all make some money as well. Just don't let Apple buy all that shit up. Don't let Sony buy that shit. You know what I'm saying? It gets crazy out there in the business world, and maybe this is what they're doing to kind of combat the big money spenders being able to throw their money on the table and just being like, oh, hell yeah. But if you combine those three companies and all the money they have available, I think that'll outbid anything that Apple may be able to offer, especially with their focus on these Apple Vision goggles right now, which goes into my next topic here, which is another big joint venture that Disney is doing. Disney and Epic Games combining to make a $1.5 billion expansive universe that entails everything that Disney has and everything that Epic owns as well. So basically, Epic is known as the big creator of, well, they've been around for a while, but the one that they hit home with the most and pretty epically, no pun intended, actually, maybe a little bit intended, is their game Fortnite. If you're familiar with Fortnite, if you played Fortnite, you know what that game is and how it's evolved over the years. Man, I played when it first came out. From that to what it is now is pretty crazy. It is nuts. The things you can do, the way the game is played, it's learned and taken from other games over time. I mean, at first it was its own type of shooter. It was different from Apex. It was different from Call of Duty. It was different from this and different from that. But as it got better, as it got older, you know what I'm saying? The game has lasted so many years. It's kind of nuts how many years the game has been around and able to reinvent itself without necessarily putting out a new game. It's just nuts. The BR format, you know what I'm saying? It was around before Fortnite, but once everybody loved the battle royale and the freeness of the game and the DLCs and stuff like that, I think every other game took from Fortnite and just went along with what they were doing. But for them now to kind of differentiate themselves, because maybe they have been losing a lot of people. Maybe I don't think they've been losing so many people, but just as these other games have continued to get better as well, they had to do something to change it up and still stay afloat and be, the market leader of the BR game. You know what I'm saying? Even though they've been around for longest. And anyways, what I see happening right here, you're taking all of Disney's characters and properties. They already use the skins and stuff in Fortnite. You know what I mean? So the partnership has already been there. But for them to be making an expansive universe and just going ahead and being like, okay, we're going to go ahead and give you Avatar. We're going to give you everything Disney. We're going to give you Marvel as well. You can go ahead and take, what else do they have under the umbrella? I think everything Marvel, you have everything that's already Disney. And I think it's a slow walk into the metaverse. You know what I mean? Again, Fortnite's always been on the forefront of making shit happen, especially with partnerships, the concerts that they do with artists, the events that they do with other companies and popular companies that are out right now. They'll last for I don't know how long. It's like a season or a couple of weeks or stuff that they always done and been on the forefront, like I said. And then other companies started to copy. You know what I'm saying? And then slowly we start to get the output of these goggles, the vision goggles, the virtual reality, the VR simulating opticals. You know what I mean? We talked about the metaverse and what it could be. We laughed at it. NFTs laughed at it. Cryptocurrency laughed at it after it kind of blew by the wayside. Nah, it's been undercover being developed, and I feel like, wow, like what's come of it is going to be crazy. You heard about people buying land in the metaverse. We heard about people being able to buy NFTs so you can just hang them on the walls in your metaverse property. Like what? Are we ever going to get there? Like I don't see it happening. We have the movie Ready Player One. I talk about this a lot, but people, I'm thinking, am I outlandish for thinking this shit? Am I thinking outside the box? Am I just being conspiracy me? But this partnership right here and the output of these Apple Vision goggles and the Quest goggles and all this shit and the advancements of those and the things you can do in those just lets me know we're about to be in for some shit that you're not ready for and you need to get ready for. An immersive place where you can walk around these different lands with your friends and talk to these characters and interact with these characters play Fortnite, play different games. It's just going to be crazy. I advise everybody to go get some. I know it may not be affordable, but whatever way you can do it. If you have to do it on your phone and get the little box lenses and put it over your phone and play with it a little bit. If you need to, payment plans, just get ready. Because I feel like no longer will we have to like pay well, you're gonna pay, but you're not gonna have to get up, pack your family up, and go to Disneyland. You're not gonna do none of that. You don't have to get up, take your family, go to Universal Studios. You're gonna be able to put these goggles on, be immersed in these places, play Fortnite, play whatever you want to play, whatever games that they have available for you in these integrated expansive universes. I don't even know. I wish I had somebody here to talk to me about this because the limitless possibilities you can do already with the Apple Vision Pros, go to games with your friends, see stuff here, augmented reality stuff, blank out people and just be really immersed in this augmented reality. Still be able to see people walk around the augmented reality. We're gonna have centers for people to go with their Quest, Apple Vision goggles, and just run around in these universes that Epic creates. I'm telling you, just get ready. If you've seen the Ready Player One, that's exactly what it's going to turn into. I've already seen the track pads where you can stand on and move around places, but you're still moving in place, so you're not running into walls like you see everybody doing on social media. It's different. It's different. You know what I'm saying? I know it's sad because it's going to take away from social interaction so much more in a way. But man, I think this can also, in a way, help us socially interact. You know what I'm saying? Though people won't be actually going out and meeting people as much, I think it may also help people with people's mental health as well. It makes it more confident to meet anybody. You can be anybody you want to be. It takes the danger out of meeting somebody. It could encourage you to meet somebody in the real world. It can take the shallowness out of people as far as like maybe if the person's like a fucking alien and you're a robot and you guys meet and just hang out all the time in this metaverse and it's like, okay, now that the goggles are mobile, maybe we can actually go and just meet each other in the real world and just take a risk. And though the people may not be who you think they look like in real life, shit, we could just pop down these goggles and you could be whoever we want to be. Just think about having sex with two people in augmented goggles. You can make the person look however they want to look. You would see people in relationships that you would never think you see them in relationships because they can make their partner look however they gonna look. That's super shallow, but I think it's just different. $1.5 billion. It's not gonna be something created just to make Fortnite better. It's not going to be a better Fortnite game just because Disney gave them access to a whole bunch of characters and a whole bunch of properties. Nah, bro, I'm telling you, it's about to get crazy. It's not going to be no game where you can just beep regular controller. We going in that game. We going in. We going in. What Lil Wayne say? We going in. We going in. Yeah. Wow. So get ready. Get your goggles. Save up for some goggles if you can't now. Try the Quest goggles too, Quest 3s. Though it's not Apple, I heard it's light years ahead of the Apple product, you know what I'm saying, as far as capabilities go. Apple Vision Pros, of course, everybody likes a shiny new iPhone sometimes, but sometimes when you at the iPhone generation 1 and then you got a Android that's level 17 already, sometimes it's good to start with the level 17 and let the number 1 figure everything out before you go and indulge yourself in something so expensive, if I say so myself. But Apple and Epic, look out for that. If you don't know, now you know. Just get ready for this metaverse shit, because it's not going to only be Disney. Watch when sports come out and you can actually go there. They let you on the court and play, shoot around at halftime, or you can shoot around in the lobby. And then when the game starts, you can go sit in your seat and just chill out and watch the game, or just go play pickup games outside. And I can help y'all develop that. That's my idea. Don't steal the Apple if you're looking to try to do that. But let's move on to some cinema corner and get y'all out of here, because I know it's Super Bowl day today. I'm losing track of time. I'm just over here blabbermouth me. But for this one, we will be going cinema corner, I believe. Let's just get it started. Let's get it started right now. Let's see. Let me see. The Greatest Night in Pop on Netflix, yo. Check that out. I'm not really big on the docs, excuse me. I'm not that big of a docs guy. They're kind of boring to me unless, you have to have a really good story. People tell me about documentaries all the time. I'm like, maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? Can you just tell me the story and I'll just kind of get with it? But The Greatest Night in Pop was actually pretty goddamn interesting, man. Back in the 80s, I think it was like 1985. Um, Lionel Richie, Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson were tasked, well, more so Quincy Jones and Lionel Richie. They were tasked with creating this pop song to help with a charity to help feed the people of Ethiopia. So everybody knows the song. We are the children. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. I'm stupid. But it was a great song, and it was cool to see how the combination of artists and just the whole song and how they recorded it, how the process of recording it was back in the 80s, just how it was brought together. It was wild. I kind of feel like everybody should see it. Everybody should watch it. It was one of the dopest things I've seen in a while. I mean, me personally, I used to do music, not on their level. I always like to say that, not on these people's level. I want to talk about artists and stuff. Just kind of bare minimum, you know what I'm saying? Recording, editing, trying to learn, kind of how people do learn on the fly. But seeing it done without all the equipment that we have today, on a super professional level, seeing somebody do it like Quincy Jones, it was on another level. It was on another level. Lionel Richie had to do this, had the task of bringing all these artists together. I don't know even how he had the idea of doing this with so many artists. I think firstly it started just like, okay, Lionel Richie, let's get this together. We need to write a song. So he reached out to Stevie Wonder. You know what I'm saying? Lionel Richie had access to a whole bunch of artists and stuff. He was the hot shit after leaving the Commodores. You know what I'm saying? He was working on a solo career, trying to make a stand and to show what he got. Everybody knows the songs all night long. They know all his songs, but they didn't really put the face to the music to make Lionel Richie that star that he wanted to be. You know what I mean? So he was tasked with putting together a song for a charity for Ethiopia, like I said. But he's had to find a way to do it. He's like, what song do I want to create? Who do I want to get on the song? How are we going to write it? So he reached out to Quincy Jones and he was like, for sure, I'll get down. It sounds like a great idea, a charity event. People in Ethiopia are dying from hunger, starvation. Like, we need to make a change. Like, yeah, da, da, da. And, it was been done before. I think it was done in like a rock and roll kind of way, kind of charity for rock and roll. And Lionel Richie was like, let's just do it for just for pop and like singers and stuff. Let's get out here and help Uganda make a bunch of money, and the sale of the record will go towards efforts to feed Ethiopia. So Lionel Richie reached out to Stevie Wonder because he was a songwriter at the time that made everything pop and was the mover and shaker when it came down to having songs written, and especially if you have Stevie Wonder backing you, it's like, okay, of course everybody's gonna get on board with that. But they couldn't get a hold of Stevie, trying them, but couldn't get it together. Lionel Richie at the same time was actually preparing to host the AMAs, the American Music Awards. So he was kind of stressed out, man. He's trying to build a solo career, go out there and host the AMAs, and wrangle a whole bunch of artists together to make a song for charity that's supposed to be a hit. Because you got to first make a song to bring it to Quincy Jones to him to agree to produce it and put it together. You know what I mean? So Lionel's reaching out to everybody, but after not getting Stevie Wonder, he goes to the second best person, or probably the best person he can go to, is Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? He hot right now. Michael Jackson's flames. Anything he writes, anything he gets on, everybody buys, and it's gonna be great. So Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson are working together, trying to write this song. They get the melody, they get the beat together, just vibing in the studio and shit. And then they put their feelers out and they're like, oh, I'm trying to get this person to be on the song. Is he available? I'm trying to get this person to be on the song. Is he available? And people are getting down with it. Since Michael Jackson was down, everybody was like, oh yeah, I'm down with this shit for sure. And then Lionel Richie had access to a whole bunch of people as well. After getting Quincy Jones's approval, after him and Michael came up with a little melody and a little demo for Quincy. And it's like, okay, let me put my feelers out too. So they ended up getting the basic people, a couple of people to do it. Bruce Springsteen, Willie Nelson, Steve Perry, stuff like that. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, quick. They out here going crazy. I don't know what's going on. I'll be right back. And we back. My bad. They was going crazy. I don't know. I was going crazy. I was making a good point too. I mean, chat pod. I'll be on Switch a lot. Follow me on Twitch too. Lydell Dinero 22 if you haven't yet. But yeah. So they was trying to get everybody together. So they got Bruce Springsteen, they got Steve Perry, got a couple people, you know what I'm saying? Then everybody, started joining on. You got the Steve Loggins of the world, Kenny Loggins of the world, Paul Simon, Tina Turner, Diana Ross, Dionne Warmack, Ray Charles, Smokey Robinson, Cyndi Lauper, Bob Dylan, Waylon Jennings, like Willie Nelson, Al Jarreau. The names go crazy and crazy and crazy. There's a whole bunch of people pretty much that were going to be at the AMAs, at the awards. And, they only had one night to make it. They're like, we're going to make it tonight after the award show. So stick around after the award show. We're gonna go in. And it was a very interesting concept to me. What made it really cool was the fact there are so many different style of artists there. Levels of greatness were all over the place, and the intimidation factor was really high. And plus, you had different styles of singing. You have white artists that are famous for a whole bunch of different shit. Nothing really up Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross's alley. People like Waylon Jennings and Bob Dylan, and just having the combination of voices was an interesting task in itself. And for Quincy Jones, which I like to call the master constructor of it all, I'll call Lionel Richie the celebrity wrangler and the host, and then I say Michael Jackson is more of the curator. Because throughout this whole process, you have artists there with egos, understandably, because they're pretty much the biggest stars in the world at the time. But it's like people having confidence in their voice standing in front of Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and all these people that they admire. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like nerve-wracking. And for them to have recorded that back in 1985 and for us to see it all playing out was really cool. Just them recording in a big ass orchestra room with so many people just sitting there talking and stuff, and for the audio to come out clean enough to come out with a good song, a great song, I would say, because "We Are the World" was a great time, a great song in its time, and I'm sure it made a whole bunch of money for Ethiopia back then. Just seeing the solos, just Michael Jackson kind of impromptu, kind of making stuff up, and some artists actually speaking up and pushing back against Michael Jackson and kind of saying maybe this should be done instead of this. Just the guts of that artist, and for them to be alive now and kind of just say, yeah, I did that. I stood up to Michael Jackson, but like, because he was supposed to be the masterful songwriter. It was dope. Who Cyndi Lauper, her voice and her little solo thing, it was interesting, man. And it was really sad though, because watching that now, just to know how many people are not alive from that night, and for Lionel Richie and the people that were alive to try to sit back and reminisce on that night, and just so many of them are no longer alive. It's just kind of crazy to think about. For them actually doing the song after an award show, staying there until the sun came up, was nuts. And it kind of showed selflessness from these artists, because I don't think any of them got paid. I think they all did it as volunteer work and just to be around all these celebrities at the nighttime, or on that night, to do something bigger than themselves, and for them to actually be selfless enough to break down at one point and just like ask all the artists for their autographs. They're in the room with the artists that you admire, and for you not to try to be too big to be like, okay, let me just holler at this person and let them know that I admire them, or for it not to be beneath you to get their autograph and shit like that. And for the fact that Diana Ross cried at the end of the night because she didn't want the night to end, just shows how stressful and great the night was at the same time. Because I'm recording now, ups and downs, dogs barking, you know what I'm saying? Shit can get frustrating. And for artists to be like, okay, I'm not getting paid, I don't gotta be here. I was just fucked up at this award show, and now I'm in this studio trying to do this song where I have really no say in what goes on in it. And I'm just participating just to lend my voice in a cause that's greater than me. Was interesting to see. It was. I know there was more fighting and probably shit that was going on that we didn't get to see, but I'm glad they added the stuff we did get to see. Like Al Jarreau being hella drunk, not being able to hit his lines, and them saying that he was trying to party before the song was getting made, during the song, had to keep hiding wine from him. And for Quincy Jones to be able to have all those artists in a room and just get the shit done and wrangle everybody together, and for them to introduce people that were there that night that weren't celebrities, that just kind of had to put up with what the celebrities wanted, and just the sound equipment guys, and I don't know. And the sign that Lionel Richie put over the door before the artist came in: check your ego at the door. it just probably made for an epic night, man. I just kind of want to shed a little light on that. It's not every day you get to see like the behind the scenes of how music's created, but then at the same time, you don't ever get to see artists of this caliber for their time all get together and do something like that, and it all be documented for you to see. Not everything, but the way they put it together was amazing, and this gives a little insight on how music is made, how the industry is, and just how far we've come. They were just, it was crazy. Michael Jackson's personality, seeing him a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Seeing Stevie Wonder a little bit. You don't really get to see these artists in this light. You know, we see them older now. A lot of us younger people, millennials, Gen X or Gen Z, whatever. But to see these people be able to talk and get to see what made these people so great was amazing. But yeah. And then I watch, so we're in Cinema Corner now. I watch a little bit of shows over time, and there's new shows coming out. So I want to talk to y'all a little bit about what's coming out. Let's try to do this dual camera thing one more time. I'm sorry, y'all, that y'all watch me. I'll get better at this. I promise you. Just right now, it's just, I'll make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, go check it out. I think it is on, I want to say Prime. If it's not Prime, I apologize. You'll find it. Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, put out a series. I think executive produced it as well, because it really gives off those Atlanta vibes as far as how it's produced. But anyways, it's a different spin on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's not the traditional Brad and Angelina Mr. and Mrs. Smith, though it goes off the kind of concept of it. 8-episode series, a quick watch if you want to binge it. It's really cool. I like how they did the season. I mean, it's comedy, but at the same time, it does have some really serious scenes that get you in feel with the characters. It's like, damn, like why are you like that? You know, just there's some tough scenes that the Mrs. and the Mr. Will be able to relate to. So I think it's a good watch for the fam. I do have my gripes about it. I won't give them away necessarily. Actually, fuck it. I will give it away. You know what I'm saying? This is I'm telling y'all about it. I'm trying to get y'all to watch it, so I will. I don't like how they don't really focus on how they became badasses. They're secret agents, they're CIA agents. So, the fighting, the shooting and stuff, you're supposed to see the training. You're supposed to see the fact that they can really make us believe they can really do this shit. But when they do get to the action and doing shit, it's dark, or they really don't show them doing anything as far as fighting wise. It just kind of like implies it and goes with the acting and the comedy to kind of keep you going throughout the show. I wish I can explain it more without giving it away, but I want you guys to watch it. Go check it out. It's funny, man. I think I really like Donald Glover's directorial and EP experience and the stuff that he's actually doing out there. He's kind of, me personally, I feel like he's kind of following in the Jordan Peele footsteps. He kind of started in comedy, but he is branching out into other fields, stuff like being serious and dramas. Atlanta was definitely drama and definitely dope in certain instances. Like they had, episodes that didn't even have to do with the storyline. And they put those out there and just had us thinking, you know what I'm saying? Just had stuff for people to think about that's kind of away from the storyline. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith is kind of like that as well. It has a lot to do with like inner feelings, mental health, as well as them being secret agents that have to do missions and stuff. Again, something else that I liked is like the episodes didn't go necessarily chronologically, if that makes sense. They did go in order, but it's like they didn't be like, oh, one episode this happened, and then the next episode this happened. So it's like little time jumps. It's like they get together and they meet each other, and then there's like, okay, they've been together for a while and this happens. And then it goes like, oh, they've been together for a while and this happens on one of the missions that they're on there. And they go on another mission and this happens during this mission. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like a really concise thing where it's like building upon each other necessarily, like a Breaking Bad type shit. It doesn't take itself too serious, but it's still serious at some points. But it's like, it's like a roller coaster, and it's cool. I like it a lot. The end left you in a little cliffhanger. There will be a season number two. It seems like it's implied. So we'll see how it happens. It is on Amazon Prime, I believe. So check that out. And also, Netflix is putting out a whole bunch of stuff for 2024. I don't know if you guys saw those previews on social media, on YouTube, wherever you watch it. But boy, they have a lot of stuff. I didn't write down it all, but if you watch that clip on YouTube now, a whole bunch of actors, whole bunch of actresses are putting out a whole bunch of projects. You know I'm ready for Squid Games 2. You know I'm ready for Umbrella Academy Season 4. You already know I'm waiting for that Avatar to come out. You know what I mean? So that and much, much more. They're definitely winning the streaming wars in my eyes. This year, we already got that new Kevin Hart movie, Lift, but I did see that there's another Kevin Hart movie coming out, another Mark Wahlberg movie coming out. There's a Jennifer Lopez space movie coming out. I don't know what that's going to be about. We still have the new season of Cobra Kai. I think this is the final season of Cobra Kai. It's supposed to be coming out as well. Stranger Things wasn't on there, surprisingly. Maybe they're taking a little bit longer to come out with that. I think there's a Quiet Place movie that's supposed to be coming out as well. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of content that's supposed to be spread out throughout 2024. We're not getting much Marvel content. So, I mean, maybe Netflix is trying to capitalize on that, though. A lot of the stuff that Netflix puts out, sometimes it's just like blah. But at least it's something to watch. Their TV series are giving you something to look forward to. If you liked the Rebel Moon series, part 2 is coming out really soon. Netflix is doing this thing. A lot of these other streaming services putting out one show at a time. They'll give you one show, and then like 2-3 years later, they'll give you another show. Like, nah, you want it now. I know Max is supposed to be putting out that Batman Penguin show. They're supposed to be coming out as well with the new season of House of Dragons. There's a lot of stuff that's supposed to be coming out there, but they're slow playing us. You know what I mean? And me personally, I pay the most attention to the streaming app that has the most content available. Me personally, I haven't had Apple Plus all my life. Not all my life, but all my tenure of being an Apple user, and I'm just new to that now. So everything that the Apple Plus, TV Plus has on there, I haven't really seen. So I'm catching up there. So there's a lot of content for me. Netflix has a lot of content as well, but it's like more so stuff that it's like stuff coming from other countries that were made. You know what I'm saying? And nothing's wrong with that. They have a new anime coming out every day. Blue Eyed Samurai was pretty raw, so I can't complain about that. But it just seems as though that we need new big stars stuff that, because the movies has been kind of dry lately too. So Netflix themselves, I don't think nobody's going to really beat them as far as their content, especially the way they push it out. They're getting WWE Raw, so they're going to be even more latent with people watching live sports that way. They're doing their own Hard Knocks series, following the Boston Red Sox around. So Netflix, they're the market leader in streaming right now, and I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon. They're already probably trying to charge it. They charge us more already for sure. Every other app now that was trying to be ad free, they're charging more if you don't want ads. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these apps are losing money, and they're trying to charge us more for less content. Netflix is doing their thing. I'm telling you, this Avatar, February 22nd, we almost there. It's gonna go hard. All these live action versions of these animes that they're doing is genius. It's genius. Squid Games 2, you already know is gonna go hard. It's gonna make them a whole bunch of money, and they have the reality show version of that was really popular as well. So they know what they're doing. Umbrella Academy, their superhero based shows, makes them the most money. They don't have The Boys. They don't have the show like Generation V or Gen V. Umbrella Academy is their show for that, and that's been doing well. They have so much shit they can do off of that too, spinoffs and stuff. So it's not gonna stop. I love it. I mean, it gives us more content to talk about. I'll get more on my shows and stuff as they come out. We're gonna do more show and movie reviews directly, and stop kind of like slow reviewing it, like reviewing it towards the end of a podcast and sending it a corner. We're gonna do full episodes that are catered to reviewing one or two probably projects and stuff like that, just so we can get our opinion out there a little bit more. Timestamps are gonna come back soon. I'll probably apologize for time. I've been stopping doing that. I haven't done that in a while. I'll be putting out these videos and trying to do the marketing and the getting ready and planning for the next episode, and a lot of different aspects that I'm kind of spread thin, but I promise you I will get back to doing the timestamps. But that does bring us to the end of the podcast, where I like to let them know where you can find your boy at. It's SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. If you're looking for me on TikTok, it's Best of Bias. I don't have my personal TikTok, but you can just check Best of Bias and I'll be on there if you want to holler. For the podcast as well on YouTube, thank you, AKA, for all the videos. The video for this podcast will be up very soon. Maybe Wednesday, though. I'm going to give them a little time. I'm sorry for this one being so late again. But I will start playing in the next podcast really soon, so y'all ain't gotta wait till Sunday to get it. But yeah, merch still available. Hats, bucket hats, dad hats, beanies, t-shirts are coming back. We'll have some new t-shirts by the springtime, I guarantee that, and some new hats as well. I'm gonna get back on it. We still have a whole bunch of stuff with the hard eyes for the Valentine's Day. Get that for your significant other as that comes. But yeah, man. Hope everybody enjoys the Super Bowl today. Sorry about the late release on the podcast. Yeah, I apologize. I'll be getting caught up sometimes, but I'll let you know, man. I'm gonna get it out sometime during the weekend. You know what I'm saying? I'm without telling y'all, I'm not gonna miss a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna leave y'all hanging. So just check for us. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's gonna be out one of those days, but I'm gonna get back to the Friday releases, I promise y'all. But it's the Best of Bias podcast. Go enjoy that Super Bowl. Sorry if I held y'all too long, but it's your boy. No long talking. Let's get up out of here. Where that theme song at?
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Best of bias.